A guten Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Vaeira, Tavshin Pei, 5780, from Yerushalayim Eretz Kodesh. The pasuk in this week's parsha, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, "V'gam ani shomati," I heard es nakas b'nei Yisrael, the cries, the pain of the Jewish people. Asher Mitzrayim ma'abdim osam, that the Egyptian people are working them. The Eskor as Brisi, and I remember my promise. So the obvious question is, if Hashem heard the cries, if Hashem is saying, I heard the cries of the Shibud, if you heard the cry, why did it take 210 years to get us out of there? Okay, so the Golus didn't start, the Shibud didn't start right when Yaakov came down, when the 210 years starts, but it doesn't, okay, fine. So but why'd you wait 185 years? If you heard our cries, why are we waiting so long to get out of here? Similarly, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avram Avinu, Lech Lecha. Hashem tells Avram, Lech Lecha me'artzecha me'ladetcha me'beis avicha ela oretz asher areka, to the land I'm going to show you. And where does he bring him to Eretz Yisrael? What's right when he gets into the land of Israel? Come make Aliyah, the promised land. You'll be great. You'll be success. Okay. Avram Avinu comes, and guess what? There's a hunger. He's got to travel out. You got to go to Egypt to get some food, and then he comes back, and then again another hunger. And Hashem tells him, why are you telling Avram Avinu this? Why torture the man to know that his children are going to be in Galus for 400 years? Why v'gam ani shomati es nakas b'nei Yisrael? I heard the cries. Hashem Mitzrayim lechatzim osam. Now I'm going to take them out. What if you heard the crying, why are you taking so long to take us out? Because I remembered my promise that the 400 years from when the bris bin himself. Okay, nice cheshboinus. So then what is the v'gam ani shamati es nakas b'nei Yisrael? What does that have to do with the cheshbon? I know you're in Golus, okay? I remember my promise I made to Avram Avinu, so I'm going to take you out. They once asked the Chafetz Chaim, why during this long and dark and ugly Golus, with all the challenges we face along the way, did we not have Nevi'im like we once had? In years past, years gone, Nevi'im who could help us understand and gain clarity and bring us closer. We can know the Dvar Hashem in a much clearer way. Why don't we have that in our Galus? Chafetz Chaim said that if we would have a Navi if we would have Nevi'im in our time, they'd be crying like Moshe Rabbeinu. Lama hari yoselam hazeh. How can you be so cruel to this nation? When the reality is, as Rabbi Yehuda says, Rabbi Yehuda Omar Beis Train Gagen Echad Yachte. What's the letter Beis? Is two roofs, and there's one that connects the two roofs. Michael Myri what's this referring to? The Echad L'malo ve'Echad L'mato. There's the Olam Ha'elyon and there's the Olam Ha'tachte. The Kutsha Bricha Hayachid Miyachte, the one, the only one who knows what's going on in Olam Ha'elyonis and Tachtoinus, the world that we're in, the Olam Ha'elyonim, the only one that knows what's going on in both. It's a Kutsha Bricha Hayachid Miyachte. You think you understand what's going on in Kutsha Bricha. HaKadosh Baruch Hu understands us. He understands us, and he's saying very clearly, Ani shamati esnakas b'nei Yisrael. I heard the pain. I heard your cries. I know exactly what you're going through. What do you think is putting you through it? And don't worry, it's almost over. I don't understand. Couldn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who made all the nisim, all the 10 makas, you heard my cries. You're telling me you're going to keep the promise. So take us out right now. Yeshua Hashem is clarified. What do you need the 10 makas for? The whole back and forth, and the pare, and the... No, I'm not going to let you go dam. Okay, I'm not going to let you go tzvadeh. What do you need it for? Take us out right now. Kodesh Baruch Hu, wipe them out. Give a deadly disease. All the Egyptians die. You skip the whole process. Make it much easier. The answer is that there's a process way bigger than we can ever understand. There's a Borei Olam in the world who's Borei, who manig l'chol abruim, who asa oisel v'yaseh. He's the one who's doing, does, and will do. Did. And l'chol abruim, for everyone. And he has a cheshbon in what, and it's not leibechinam. He doesn't waste his time. And there's a cheshbon for it all, even when we don't understand. And just as HaKadosh Baruch Hu did what he needed to do with the Mitzrayim, 10 makas, because of a midah keneged midah, and that we can understand when we see it happening to Mitzrayim. We have to understand that that's the same thing with us. What happens with us is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's cheshbonus. He doesn't always share them with us. And it gets very hard and tough at times when going through difficult situations. And if we understood them, we would cry so hard that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would say, okay, Genuk, fine. But the process would be over. And it wouldn't be a complete process. It would be, the system wouldn't work. And we find that by Yirmiyah Navi happened to left Yerushalayim before the Churban. Yirmiyah was already out of Yerushalayim before the Romans came, and it's over. That had Yirmiyah been in Yerushalayim, he would have cried so hard that the Churban wouldn't have happened, but it had to happen. Similar to when a child, unfortunately, has to go through a medical procedure, a surgery, and in the prep room, the mother, the father, they're sitting there with this child, and they're going through. And then the nurses and the doctors come and they say, okay, it's time. And they start wheeling the bed out towards the surgery room. And the mother and the father are coming with. And they don't let the mother and father into the room where they're doing the surgery. Sometimes they'll let them watch from an observatory room. but you are not going to be involved in the decision making, because it would be detrimental to the child if you do not understand the ins and outs completely in what's going on medically inside this child. So too, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's the Kol Yachol, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who puts us in the situation we're in, and knows why he puts us in this situation. For there to be outside intervention playing around in the system, it wouldn't work. That's why Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, when we sit down by the Seder, it's the night to give over emunah to our children. Children, meaning ourselves as well. The story of his Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim is the story of emunah b'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's the belief and the trust in Hashem that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what he's doing. And in the pain, Shomati es narakas. I heard the crying. I felt the pain. But this is what Klal Yisrael needs to go through at this very moment. And don't worry, it's almost over. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to take them for me as my nation. I'm going to be HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'yadatem, you will know that I am Hashem, your God, who took you out from under the reins of the Egyptians. Why is it so important to remember the Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim? It's one of the Sheish Zechiros. It's one of the 6 Zechiros that a person has to remember always. Why is it so important? Because if a person can remember the Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim, that yes, it was hard, yes, it was galus, yes, we were going through pain, whatever it is, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu heard us during that pain, but there was a process that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took us out from there and brought us to Geulat Eretz Yisrael. And just as he did it then, just as he took us out, he took us out of Mitzrayim, and he brought us on a journey to Eretz Yisrael, and it was not an overnight trip. It wasn't a direct flight. It was a 40-year with plenty of stopovers and masois from here to there, from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael, which is, if you look on a map, it's not that far. A 40-year journey. Because that was still part of the process of making us as a nation to who we become and to who we are today. So when we can understand that, and we know that Yom Tzischa Me'eretz Yisrael is one of those things we need to remember, that is the fundamentals of Emunah. And this builds our Emunah when we see this story, the beginning and the end. From when Yaakov Avinu left Eretz Yisrael till we come back to Eretz Yisrael, and you look at that picture, when we come back to the Eretz Yisrael, that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu meant when he told Avram Avinu, yeah, what you saw at the MetLife Stadium, 100,000 Jews, it's huge. It's huge. But there was much more than that when we came to Eretz Yisrael. And that's the V'asesem, the Gagadol Atzim V'rov. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu says he's going to do something, he does it. It may not be on our timetable, but you could take his word to the bank, because it's gold. Thank you so much for listening. As always, any questions, comments, or feedback, you can leave them in the comment section below.